We are live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This
Good
is
morning, world.
Yvonne Sewell along with Mary Brotherton, and we are so excited. As you can see on the screen, we have a new imprint, and it's for our children's books. And the imprint is called Small Hours, and I'm going to get Mary to explain the logic behind our new imprint. We decided that since we already have three children's books out there and we're fixing to get more, that we wanted the imprint to reflect children. It's a brand. Somebody said yesterday we were having lunch with a new author that we will
Dale
introduce
Sealy.
in a minute, and he said, "What do you mean imprint?" Well, as with most of the larger publishing companies, they do different genres of books. And in doing those different genres of books, they don't want, say, a children's book to have the imprint and maybe a romance book. So they change the imprint to brand that particular genre. Our imprint,
It's almost like if you think of it like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, everybody knows what it is,
mm-hmm,
but everybody may not know that Coca-Cola also sells Tab. Uh, I don't know. I think they do Fanta, but that might be a Pepsi product. But the point is, um, even Michael Jordan's Nike shoes, they all have Air Jordans, or they have this Jordan or that
right.
Jordan. It's like a sub brand under the main brand. Midnight Publishing will always be the big brand, but we're getting so many different genres of authors that write under different genres. So it's time to start creating little brands, or not sub brands, not little. I don't want to make them little, to help these products stand out
And
at Amazon or on a bookshelf or whatever. So what you see on the screen here, this small hours book publishing, will be on the spines of the books that they fit on, if it'll fit, and definitely we'll be using it online and other places to just let you know this is the small hours imprint.
it is part of our brand. When you see Small Hours, yes, that is Midnight Publishing's books. It's just for the wee children. And ladies and gentlemen, you all are the ones that selected this logo.
Your
Mary,
votes.
she did. She put up a poll with several different logos she created and asked you all to vote. So this was your vote. This was over 50% of the votes was for this logo. Now explain to the folks what Small Hours means.
Okay, small hours is actually a synonym for the word midnight. And it's kind of an archaic term. It's not something you hear people say, oh, I got up in the wee hours of the morning. That's typically after midnight. The small hours are midnight hours. Um, but I like the idea of it being small because it's for the smaller hands, the smaller readers. And it goes along with the midnight aspect. Now, our next imprint is probably going to be for spiritual authors.
Spiritual
Um,
inspiration authors, yeah.
because I've written 3 books that are about angels, and Dale is writing several books about spirituality. Um,
We already have two authors out
I
there
was
that
just
already
thinking, I was trying to
published.
remember who. I knew we had at least one. Who are the other 2 spiritual authors?
Peggy Engler and Alta Desinoid.
Yes, yes.
And
And
they
so when they write another book, we'll put this imprint, the spiritual imprint, on their books. Um, it may not have anything to do with midnight. I don't know. We don't. I can't tell you what it will look like yet because I haven't started it. We just started talking about it yesterday. And the way that I create these logos, and most, I don't know if everybody else does the same or not, but I just go off to myself and I think about it, and I pray about it, I meditate on it. Whatever comes out is what comes out, and I'll choose 5 of my favorites. Yvonne will choose 5 of hers, and if they match, which these last ones were almost
Perfect.
identical, then we'll put them up for a vote. Let you choose which one you think represents spirituality to you.
And ladies and gentlemen, while I'm listening to Mary talk, I have to explain something. Well, not really explain something, but let you guys in on a little secret. This is Mary and I for the last 20 years. When we first met, we gelled as friends. It was like we probably knew each other in another life. And when Mary started her Be Unique magazine, which was her dream, her baby, she called me and we talked about it for 3 hours
At least.
at least, and several times after that. And so, and it was very successful until it was no longer a passion. She had taken it as far as she wanted to. She could have taken it further had she chosen, but she chose to let that part go and do something else. So when she decided to honor Midnight Publishing with her books, it was a natural reaction, a natural joining of the journeys for her to come on as co-host here, building logos. Like we are an extension of each other in this journey, and
We
we
have always been.
yeah, we didn't even have to talk about it. It just happens. So there you are. This is why Mary is part of this, because she is. It's like this puzzle is now complete because the band is together once again.
Can
So yesterday,
I be Ringo?
yes, you can be Ringo. Yesterday, we met in Melbourne with at that time, a potential author who wanted to meet in person. And not really sure what he thought he might be getting into, but he jumped in the deep end of our pool. He is joining us. He is, like Mary said, a spiritual inspiration author. And from his synopsis of the books that he writes out by longhand and then puts on the computer, I can't wait to get my hands on them. I can't wait to create the covers because the one in particular is already forming in my mind, and Mary
I
knows
bet
which
it
one I'm
is.
talking about, and I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all because now you just gotta wait. So this was the idea for creating the new imprint for the spiritual inspiration books. It's still under Midnight Publishing, but those of you who have seen the brand and the logo for Midnight Publishing, it's dark. It has a skull because that's my brand. That is just the brand. But we want to be able to teach people how to see the different imprints and the different brands and what they stand for and why we do it. So when this show is over with, this imprint will be going on all over social media. Mary will promote it. I'm going to promote it on the website, on all the social medias. So any of children's authors out there that want us to do your book, this will be on the inside. It will be on the spine if it'll fit. It might even be on the back cover small if I can fit it there, because this is a beautiful, beautiful imprint. So thank you, Mary, for all of your hard work.
You're so welcome. It's one of the things that I love to be able to take the words in my head, the images in my head, and talk to AI. And I don't hesitate to mention this was created by AI. with my assistance and my input. And to be able to take what I think and envision in my head and actually create something that matches that image, to me is pretty powerful. I know a lot of people don't approve of using AI for writing or drawing or whatever. And now, anybody who knows me know, and Yvonne too, we're both also fine artists.
Yes.
We paint. You use oil, don't you?
I use oil, I use pastels, and I use acrylics, and sometimes I mix those three mediums. I also use charcoal. It just
Okay.
depends on what the voices in my head tell me to do on any
Absolutely.
given day.
I remember talking to a neighbor who's recuperating from an injury, and she was telling me how she was working with oil paint, but she had no idea how long it took for it to dry.
Several days.
Technically, never. It's oil. It never dries. You can come back with a little putty knife later and dig through it, and you'll find it's still wet. But she said she was trying to create texture. And I said, oh, you should work with either watercolor or acrylics, because then you have now with watercolor, you have to create the texture visually. With acrylics, you can actually create it physically as well, but it takes a certain amount of skill and finesse.
And acrylics
But
also dry faster.
yes, yes,
And you have to be very careful. When I started out painting with acrylics, and my mother used oils. My mother was like me. She mixed mediums. People said you can't mix acrylics and oil. She said, "Watch me." So when I started with acrylics, and then I decided that because I like creating depth in my artwork, I couldn't get the depth I wanted with the acrylics that I
yeah,
could get with the oils. And then what I do is, after the oils dry to a certain extent, I've been known to take the pastels and put the pastels on and then rub it down, and
yeah.
it's like a 3D picture. Yes,
One of my favorite pieces has, I think it's almost, I gotta look at it and think. I used watercolor markers
Mm-hmm.
for it, but then I added so many things. It's definitely a mixed media. It has ribbons, it has buttons, it has some broken pieces of jewelry, and I created it during one of the hurricanes that we were dealing with, and I was, as the eye of the storm's flying overhead and making all that noise, and I couldn't sleep, so I created a piece of art. And I love it because it's the ribbons that are on it are like gossamer. They're very, very light.
Yep.
So even the ceiling fan makes them blow. And it reminds me, that I made it through the storm.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about this, we're gonna circle back around to a new author in a minute. But as we talk about this, understand art in any form, whether it is a book, whether it is a painting, whether it is a photograph or a song or any other form of art, is perception of the person who is viewing it or reading it, writing it, uh, making it work. Movies, it's perception.
Yes.
Case in
And
point, when Dark Shadows was redone with Johnny Depp, it got very bad reviews. Now, I grew up on the original Dark Shadows. Well, it got bad reviews. I went to see it. And in order to understand the movie and to be able to enjoy it, the person viewing it had to let go of the old
yes,
Dark Shadows and view it through a different perception. I thought it was very well done.
I loved it. I also grew up on the original Dark Shadows and Barnabas Collins and I loved, I mean, I think I had a crush on, I don't remember, I don't think it was Barnabas, but it was one of them. But I watched the Johnny Depp one and I was enthralled
It
because
was
he
dark
brings
humor.
it to life a different way.
It was completely dark humor. And you had to get into that setting to understand it. Same thing with Beetlejuice 2.
Oh, yes.
People gave it bad reviews. Again, you had to let go of the original Beetlejuice and view it through the eyes of the teenage girl and her perception of the house.
Can we talk a minute about bad reviews? Maybe you want to finish talking about Dale first,
Yeah, let's
but I
talk about.
want to talk about bad
Yeah,
reviews
we'll do
today,
that.
too.
But let's introduce. You introduced Dale since you brought him to us and you've known him longer, and he's an amazing human being. So introduce our audience to our new author. Can't wait to get his bio and photograph because we'll put it up the next time. We won't be meeting for 2 weeks, folks, because she's gonna be out of town. But the next time we meet, maybe I'll have his bio and his headshot, and we'll post it up there. That's
Okay.
what we'll start doing on Wednesdays is start posting our
I
authors.
love that idea.
I will send you all their headshots and you can be in charge of the video, the posting of the video.
Making them on the screen.
Yeah, there
I
you
can do
go.
that.
See how we work,
Uh,
ladies and gentlemen. But go ahead, talk about Dale.
Dale Veely is, he is one of the gentlest men I've ever met. He's just, he exudes grace and kindness. And I met Dale almost, I got to do the math in my head, almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago. Yeah, this December 23rd. I was doing a meet the author event at a local store. And Dale is a friend of the store owner. The store is called Island Crystal and Beads. It's Merritt Island's largest crystal shop. But they have so much more than that. And I had befriended the owner as well, and they carry two of my books. They don't carry my children's book. They carry two of my adult angel books. And one day I was talking to Christian, and he said, "Why don't you come in and do a book signing, meet the author?" I'm like, "Okay." So I put it out there, I posted it on Facebook and whatnot, but I didn't even realize Christian was posting it on his personal store calendar. And all you have to do is sign up at Crystal Beads to get a copy of the calendar emailed to you. And that's what happened with Dale. He saw the announcement. And at that point in my life, I think I had only written the first 3 books. I hadn't written the other 3. But anyhow, Dale saw my announcement in the store calendar and decided he wanted to look me up. He Googled me. Some people Google Mary Brotherton and they get intimidated just like they do when they Google Yvonne Mason, because we're 2 women that don't sit back and wait for permission to live our lives. We've both done that in the past. That's another reason. Yvonne and I have so many commonalities. And, we were the wallflower in our first part of life, and then we decided enough of this stuff. And so, try it. Google Yvonne Mason or Yvonne Sewell and Mary Brotherton and just see it. If you might be impressed or you might be turned off. I've intimidated people by telling them that. But anyway, Dale was not intimidated. He was fascinated with my charity that I created, which was an educational charity. It's still going under a new leadership. So anything that's going on now, you have to blame somebody besides me. So I had gone through 2 or 3 hours at the store, and I was about to go home. I was packing up my table. And Dale walks in, and he says, "Could we speak for a minute?" Sure. And he told me what I just told you, and he said, "I'd like to buy your books." I said, "All 3 of them?" He says, "Absolutely." So he buys all of my books. He says, I'm working on a book myself, but I don't really know how to do that. So I said, well, tell me about it. Dale started telling me about his book, and you could see the passion in his eyes, and his whole demeanor changed. He stood a little taller, and he stood a little prouder as he talked about the ideas that he wants to get down on paper, and they aren't his ideas. Dale had a very profound experience with a homeless woman that's changed his life. And that's going to be the subject of his first book. And so he told me about it, and he says, well, I write my thoughts down on yellow pad, pen and paper, and I just don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. How do I get this? He held up a thing, and how do I get this into this? How do you make a piece of paper, a stack of paper, into a book? I don't know how to do that. I said, well, fortunately for you, I either know how or I know people who know how. I said, how far are you on your book? He goes, well, I haven't even started doing chapters. I just started writing down on my notes, my ideas, my thoughts. So I challenged him. This was December 23rd, 2023. And I said, okay, well, Christmas is right around the corner. And then we've got New Year's. And I don't know how you celebrate either of these holidays, but I'm going to challenge you by February, whatever, the end of February, 28th. By February 28th, I want you to give me 3 paragraphs. I handed in my business card. Here's my email address. So you send me 3 paragraphs between now and February 28th. Within, I want to say it was 2 days or 3 days, and Dale didn't tell you this yesterday. He sent me about 190 words. He just couldn't stop writing. Now I think he's up to 10,000, something like that.
Something like that.
But he's got so much more. And when he finishes, he's going to send it to me. I will edit it. Because he's worried about, he doesn't know how to do this, he doesn't know how to do that.
Just right.
And I said, it's okay. We will get you where you need to go. We'll show you how to format it. And that's one of the things that I do I call myself this now, but I didn't always. Other people called me the book midwife, because I have a way of helping people bring their babies to life. And I will sit with Dale, and I will sit with anybody who asks me to on Zoom, and go over inch by inch what you need to do. I mean, for Midnight Publishing, a lot of people don't know, Yvonne asks for you to set it up on a 6x9 page. A lot of people don't know how to adjust their margins to that. It's easy, but you don't know how easy it is until you've done it once or twice. She says she wants her manuscripts single-spaced. And a lot of computers are automatically set up to do it like a space and a half. Why, I don't know. But you have to tell it what you want. And the font, that spaces, that words come in automatically is not what we need in the industry. We need Times New Roman. We don't need it this big. We just need it 12 points. And if you don't know how to do that, guess what? Yvonne and I are in the very early, as of yesterday, planning stages to create a class that will tell you exactly how to do all this.
And the fun thing, it will be free.
Yes.
Free. We just want you to register. And we're not charging. Again, I am not in this business to make a fortune. That is not my goal.
She's in the business to make a difference.
To make a difference. Because that's part of my brand. It's what I live by. And you may say, oh yeah, but you have an agenda. No. A true friend who does something for someone else does it with never asking for anything in return.
The joy, like we saw yesterday on Dale, when he made that connection, he said, "Oh yes, I'm coming on board." The look on his face was worth every penny that we could have made.
And yes, you get your royalties. It's like I told Dale, I'm not gonna waste your time or my time by sending you 29 cents or $2. I want it to build up before I send it to you, because when you see it built up and you see 50, $60, yeah, it may take 3, 4, 5 months, but when you see that, the joy that you feel that people are reading your book is priceless. So understand, I have an author right now. I said, "You're at $20. What do you want me to do with it? You want me to hold on to it and buy you more books when you're ready?" She said, "Absolutely." So there's different ways we can do it. You still retain the rights to your book. You decide you don't want to play with us anymore, no harm, no foul. We return everything to you. The cover, the books, it, you you own your work. We just publish it for you.
And we recently talked to another author who's on the fence. She doesn't know if she wants to join Midnight Publishing or not. But that was one of her worries, was who has the rights to my book? And the answer is you do. You always own the rights to your own intellectual property. And I'll tell you, if Yvonne creates the cover, like My Faith and Folly, she created that cover for me. All my other books, I've created my own covers. But she created the cover for Faith and Folly. And if I decided today that I wanted to pull away from Midnight Publishing, she would give me that cover.
Absolutely.
And everything else that I need to succeed with it. Can't imagine why I would go anywhere.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. The
Okay.
same author that's on the fence, she had already spent an hour and a half talking with Mary.
Yeah.
And when she came to me, she asked me the same question she asked Mary. Well, I want to get a literary agent. We're going to keep preaching this until it sinks in. Mary's already traveled that road. I've traveled that road. And I am going to tell you, literary agents in their inbox get hundreds, if not thousands, of manuscripts. They charge you to be your agent.
15 or more %. Now they don't charge you up front. When you start making your money, then they start charging you. And anybody, I mean, nobody makes a lot of money writing books right off the bat. It's very rare. Sure, there are some newcomer bestsellers who are making hand over fist. We hear about J.K. Rowling and Stephen King and James Patterson all the time. But those people started out at a different time. Today's publishing world is a different beast. And like when Yvonne said she didn't want to send you 29 cents or $2, depending on how many books you sell in a month, your profit, or royalties as they call them, from Amazon can be very small. And Yvonne holds all those monies until you're ready for them.
And I have spreadsheets. Every one of my authors has their own spreadsheet. I also download the reports from Amazon. So if Mira says, "Yvonne, you said I sold 6 books in, let's just pull a month out, in June of 2025. Can I see the report from Amazon?" Sure. Here it is. I send it to her. So at any given time, you can see the results of your progress at any given time. And at any given time, if you want to pull your book, we take it down. Understand this though, if you decide to republish your book, and Mary will tell you this because I had to explain it to her, you have to get it a new ISBN number and a new barcode. You can get those on Amazon if you decide to self-publish yourself, but you have to change that information because that ISBN number has already been assigned to Midnight Publishing. Just like
And
with,
that number was what held me up from helping Linda Humphrey with her cornfield flyers.
yep,
I tried for a year. She had done what I suggested because I was being stubborn and a little ignorant before I joined Midnight Publishing, and I'm learning so much more every day. But we had bought her own ISBN number, and I'd heard horror stories about working with Amazon, and then one day I said, you know what, I'm going to just try it and see what happens. And it was not bad at all. But then I tried to get Linda's book on Amazon, and because the number had already been assigned elsewhere and printed elsewhere, couldn't do it. Now she can still take that same ISBN number that we had the first time and go back to her original printer and have hundreds of thousands of copies if she wants to. But the problem with that is you have to pay for bulk in order to get the books at a price you can actually afford to resell them. You have to buy hundreds of copies because otherwise the book's going to cost $20 for you. How are you going to get any profit from that? But by working with Amazon, you don't have to pay for that up front, and you can order one copy of your book, or you can order 1,000 copies of your book.
this morning I ordered 30 books for Sherry Ann Richardson. I ordered 10 paperbacks of Under the Dragon's Eye. I ordered 10 hard copies of her A Chocolate Lover's Garden and 10 paperbacks of her Chocolate Lover's Garden. The total price with shipping and taxes, because you know we have to pay the IRS, for 30 books was $489. Because number one, ladies and gentlemen, her Chocolate Lover's Garden's hardback book retails for almost $55 because it is a 8.5 by 11 coffee table book.
Nice.
The paperback sells for almost $29 for the same reason. The bigger the book, the more expensive it is. The bigger the book with illustrations, the more expensive it is.
Absolutely.
The bigger the book with more pages is more expensive. However, that all being said, Sherry is going to a show with over 800 people in September. It's a chocolate.
Where's she going?
I'm not sure. It's up in where she lives somewhere, but it is a chocolate lovers convention.
Oh my goodness.
She will be speaking.
She's gonna wish she had ordered more books.
Well, I told her, I said, look, order 10 of each right now. And if you run out, you can either get the money from them, I will drop ship them to you, you can sign them and send them to them.
Yep.
Because by her ordering author copies, she's already made her money, and all she's doing is paying for her author copies.
Yeah.
So there is an advantage, and I would rather her have 10 of each than have 20 of each and take home 15.
Yes. Nobody knows how heavy books can be until you overpack.
Exactly. And another advantage, and I know you've seen this at your shows too, when we set up a table, ladies and gentlemen, if I've got 10 books of Murder in the Village, I'm not putting all 10 books out on the table. And there's a reason for that. It's a marketing ploy. If somebody sees two or three books out and they're on the fence about whether or not they want to purchase it, if they only see two or three books, they walk around, they come back, they see one book, they're going to buy that book
Because they're in short supply.
because they think, yeah, I may have more books under the counter, but I'm not putting them all out. Number one, we don't have enough space. And number two, it's a visual thing. When you go online and you see something you want to purchase, and you see down at the bottom it says, oh, we're running low, we have just sold 50, we only have 5 more in stock, your first instinct is to go ahead and buy that product
Buy.
because you think it's going to be gone. It's human nature. And speaking of conventions, if everything goes well and the West Coast doesn't get washed away in some mad Mother Nature occurrence, and Mary and I both keep our health, we're going to be at a convention that I was at the very first one 10 years ago. It's called Flirty in Tampa. And it's a huge, huge, huge convention. Got to start
And
sending.
that'll be next August, right?
Next August, yes, next August. It's at the same in the same month, same dates, around those dates every year, and this is their 10th anniversary. So for me to be able to get in was amazing. I just happened to know the beautiful woman that puts it on. So stay tuned for that. And with
We are
all-
also planning to go to the um, Pages and Pen event in Oviedo Mall the first Saturday of October.
and I may
I
have
got the
I may have to leave early
yeah.
because on my calendar I have an event that I have to help put on at the hall, but I'm going to come up there for it. The event's from what time to what time?
Oh, don't ask me questions that I don't have answers for.
I know it ends
Give
at
me-
5.
Give me a minute here. Let me pull this up and I can tell you.
I know that because we are unscripted, this is what happens.
Yeah, but I can look it up real fast. Oviedo Mall.
But our goal, ladies and gentlemen, is for both of us to be out there more, both as the publishing house and as authors, and do dual
11 to 5.
11 to 5. So I should be there by what time? 9ish, 10ish.
10 should probably work. I will probably get there about 9:30, quarter to 10, set up. I've gotten to a pretty easy way. I just kind of know how to set up.
Yeah, that happens.
Not that
when
hard.
you're
And I've got to order some Faith and Folly for that event too.
Okay, we got. I can go ahead and release both the hardback and the paperback in the next couple of days if you want me to. And
Well, you said September 1, right?
yeah, oh, we
That
got
should give me
time.
plenty-
Yeah, we got time. I don't know what I was.
I'm gonna want 10 copies of each, soft and hard copy.
Okay,
You tell me what the answer is and I will send you the money.
okay, that works.
'Cause I know I don't have any royalties in reserve yet.
What I will do is I will send you an invoice through PayPal so you'll have it for your taxes.
Thank you.
And that's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. That
Yes.
way, when she sends me money back through PayPal, they don't take out $20 for their admin fees. That's what I can't get through to Sherry yet. Is I need to first send her an invoice so she can pay through the invoice.
Yes.
Because what happens is PayPal likes to take out their. I wish we could find another way to do things, but PayPal likes to take out their cut. But it's
Well, you can use Venmo and Cash App and have it be, not, instead of payment for services or goods, just payments among friends, and you don't have to pay that.
You can, but that can become a pain in the neck too, because then you still got an unpaid invoice sitting out there. You want
Yeah.
that invoice.
Yes.
And this is what what I'm trying to get Sherry to understand is I haven't sent her an invoice because she sent me the money early. Bless her. But I did send her a copy of the order so that she can use it for her taxes. But the proper way to do it is you order your books, I send you an invoice, you send me the money in payment, then I order the books right behind it. And it works out well when it's in play. So
Yes.
up on that, we'll move on from that. Now, let's talk about reviews.
Specifically, bad reviews.
And we've done this before, ladies and gentlemen, but there are some people in the back of the room that either didn't understand the
They
assignment,
took their hearing aids out.
took their hearing aids out, um, don't get what happens and how much fun you, the author, can have with a negative review. I have had so much fun with this. It is unreal. So take it and run with it for a minute, Mary, and then we will read some of these lovely, lovely reviews.
What people don't understand is any review is a good review. Whenever I go on Amazon to shop for a book or anything, I check out the reviews. Now, it might be something if it's something new especially. So I go and I read the reviews and I look at all the 5-star reviews and I'm like, okay, that's good. But then I go check out a couple of the 1 and 2-star reviews. Especially the ones that say, well, I had to leave a star, but I would have left less than I could have. I'm like, ooh, somebody hit a nerve. So I want to know why. And I read those reviews. And I do the same thing, writers, indie authors especially, will get a lot of marketing emails from people who are trying to take what little bit of money we've got and promise us all these grand and glorious things. And sometimes they'll say just enough good stuff about your book to pique your interest and make, it's an ego stroke. I take those and I turn those into reviews. Put their name right there on it because they said it. I've got the proof in the email. Just because they didn't write an official review doesn't make it any less powerful. And if somebody tells you, I had a neighbor tell me one time that Steep Steps ought to be on every college campus in the country as mandatory reading. She's older. She doesn't know how to write a review. And she's a snowbird, so I can't always talk to her when it's convenient for me. So I said, you know what, I don't need you to write the review. I heard it. I wrote it down myself, and I've shared that with other people. But the reviews that Yvonne is getting for Murder in the Village they're comical.
At best.
They think they're hurting her feelings. One of them or two have actually attacked her personally.
Yep.
She could take them to court for slander if she wanted to, or libel, because it's written.
Yep.
But she's got some other plans to do interesting marketing with those quoted reviews. The old expression, any attention is good attention, and a child will act out to get a spanking because at least they get the attention of their parents. It's kind of the same way with us, Everybody that's read the book had to buy it, unless they're sharing it, which is a big no-no. But you someone has bought the book and they've taken the time to read it and be offended by it. And because they're so offended, they want to lash out and hurt the author who clearly stated, this is a work of fiction. And yes, there are similarities. Art, imitates life. So get over it. But what Yvonne did is she blended 2 or 3 different communities. Some she's lived in, some she's just heard about, some she may have researched. But she wrote things that hurt these people's witty bitty feelings, and then they go and write a review on Amazon. So that gives her one more review. And the more reviews you get, the higher your rating. The higher your rating, the quicker you get to number one.
What makes it also funny is in the second review, and ladies and gentlemen, the first two reviews, the first one, they're under their name was likes to shop. Now, I am about reviews and statements like I am about anything else in life. If you have the guts to make a statement or write a review, then own it.
Yes.
Nobody names their child anonymous, and nobody names their child likes to shop. So this person put themselves in the book. They attacked me personally. Let's see, I was an 80-year-old lonely woman who had been hurt, who reminded her of the movie Mean Girls and the book in Mean Girls, never saw the movie. And that basically I should be ashamed of myself. Now, number one, my question was, when did I age overnight? 6 years. Because I want to understand that process, because I might want to reverse it and go backwards.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be fun? The second thing about being a lonely woman that had basically been rejected, I find laughable because I was married to the best. He was only 2 men in my life that got me, and now they're both dead. My father and my late husband. If it weren't for my late husband encouraging me and even giving me ideas for book lines, book plots, and being a part of that journey, I might not be where I am today. Some days I'm mad at him because he's gone and I can't throw things off of him, bounce things off of him, and talk about things. So, what this woman did is she put herself in the book. So, me being me, when I got it, I just laughed. And so did everybody else. And if you haven't read the book yet, you will not understand when we talk about the loofahs and the colors of the loofahs. If you have read the book, you get it. The second review I got, it had to be written while this person was drunk or on drugs, because they also put themselves in the book. And their first line was, I don't know if I'm in the book or not, but... And I need your help, ladies and gentlemen, because I need to know... Mary, don't fall on the floor, you're fixing to. I need to know who JD is. Because according to this person, again, this was another personal attack. According to this person, I have a lover named JD who I call Coffee. Now, there is absolutely no logic in that sentence at all.
No.
Because people that know me know that I drink copious amounts of coffee, have since I was 13 years old. Coffee is the breakfast of champions. My own children don't talk to me until I've had at least 1 cup of coffee, and then they tread lightly. So...
Now, isn't this the same person who said you were a woman scorned?
Oh, that was both of them.
Because if you're a woman scorned, how do you have a lover named JD
Good
slash
question.
Coffee?
That is an excellent question, one that I haven't figured out yet myself.
I mean, a woman scorned does not have a lover.
No, because they don't like that environment. Let's see. Let me hold on just a second. Whoops, I went somewhere I didn't mean to go. Let me pull this back up. Da 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 da. Oh, here we are. See if I can do it this way. Let me minimize this because I have to read these silly things. They are just okay. This is the first one. Now, this was the second one. She put her name, or he put his name, as Amazon customer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a given.
I'm
Amazon
going to
will
name my
not,
child Amazon.
well, Amazon will not accept a review if you're not a customer. They kick it back because they get a lot of
Yeah.
clickbait and spammers. So this is what she wrote. The title of her book, of her review, is "The Book is a Ruse to Gossip About People She Doesn't Like." Honey, if I'm gonna gossip about you, I will do it to your face.
And
I
you will
may
use their real name.
absolutely, because I own it, and I'm proud to own it. I may or may not be a character that the writer, self-published author, created. Okay, let's get the title right. You're lost in the 19th century, honey. We are not self-published. We are indie authors and we own it. I am one of the ones that broke that ceiling of self-published because there was a time when we as indie authors were scorned. If we weren't good enough to be with one of the big six, then we were not worth reading. Let me tell you what, there's more indie authors out there outselling traditional writers for various reasons, which we will get into. I live in the same trailer park. Okay, this was the second time that it's been called a trailer park. The first reviewer called it a trailer park. Let's clarify this. Apparently, you don't know where you live. Do you have Alzheimer's or are you just plain stupid? So let's clarify where we
Maybe it's not even somebody who lives in your neighborhood. Maybe it's somebody who lives in a trailer park and she just
maybe, but
thinks you wrote about them.
they must be neighbors with the first review. We live in a 55 plus mobile home community. The trailer park is half a block down from me. And it is undeniably a trailer park. So if you don't know where you live, I suggest that you go ask someone who has all of their marbles about them. We are vibrant adults who have many years ahead of us. Nobody said you didn't, but life is fragile. You may or may not. You have an expiration date.
Yep.
We establish relationships which sometimes grow physical. You think?
Ooh.
And even
Who's
result
gossiping now?
and even result in marriage. Are you on this planet with me? I mean, okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good on you. I'm unaware of the relationships that she is purportedly saying have taken place between the married people whom she makes no real effort to conceal their identities. Sweetheart, let me tell you something. It's a book of fiction. That disclaimer is on the first page of the book, which says this is a book of fiction. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Did you not read that part? However, you put yourself in the book. She does seem to be a woman scored, a play off of the first review, and it is on a mission to hurt people. If I want to hurt you, I'll hurt you and help them look for you. I'll hide your body in the back of my truck and help.
How is this book hurtful? It's funny as oh get out.
She put
It
herself in
is.
the book. Guilty conscience?
Uh-huh.
Is this really going on in the village? That was my question. You
And
brought
where
the
you live is not called a village, is it? What's the name of your community?
Village Green.
Okay, so it is village.
Okay. Um, everyone, no, her book is being passed around the park more than the character Lala. And you know this how? Are you going around and knocking on doors to see if people are passing around this book?
Well, grand.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I find in this book is the influence of her lover, JD, whom she likes to call Coffee. What?
That's just so specific.
It is. Nowhere in the book is the initials JD. Now, if she's talking about Detective Joe Friday, who is the investigator,
What would be JF?
yeah, that's that sentence did was
The,
she
the whole thing about you like to call him Coffee, what does that have to do with the review of the book? What does your lover have to do with the book?
oh it
How
gets
Amazon let this slip through, I'm shocked. Because it has very little to do with the quality of the book, which
it
is
might
supposed to be the reason for the review, right?
right. It might explain the obvious torment that she suffers from that causes her to act out in such a way. What? So when I write my true crime
Oh my
books,
goodness.
which are real, am I hurting in some way? No, my victims are. And they're raw. If you want to really get down and dirty, read the true crime books, which I'll tell you about later. The book isn't a page turner, but you read it. You read
Well,
the book.
obviously, she turned the pages so she could find this fictional character who's even a figment of her imagination.
Yeah, it's not even in the book.
He's not in the
It's
book. He has nothing to do with the book. You didn't list him in your list of acknowledgments or
no.
dedication or anything like that.
It's
That,
paragraph after paragraph of bizarre situations conjured up in a tormented mind, which is clearly in need of psychological guidance to be healed from her abuse so that she doesn't continue the cycle as the abuser and leaving and live her remaining years peacefully. What?
well, it's nice she's worried about your future life.
And my psychological mind. She can't even
And
get in my mind. There's too many voices in there already. It's too crowded. She couldn't live in my mind. It would kill her.
this is someone who is so jealous
Oh, absolutely.
that you have done so well with this one book. She has no idea what else you've done.
No.
And that's why I said at the beginning of the show, y'all need to just go and Google Yvonne Mason Sewell and see what happens.
Oh, but it
Look,
gets
look her
better.
up. See what she's done.
It,
Every now and then Google yourself. It's fun.
it,
Be
it gets
surprised.
better. The last two sentences, I'm going, what? Hurt people. Yvonne is hurting. Sad face emoji. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you poor darling. You really seemed upset and hurt yesterday when we had this 2.5 hour lunch, just laughing and having a good time. Um, I
I,
guess
I,
the tears of a clown have come through.
yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I did with some of the verbiage in that particular review. She put herself in the first book. So, in the second book, Duct Tape, Tarp, and a Shovel, her own words are showing up
I
in the
love
book.
this.
Showing up in the book. Now, what I am asking all of you to do out there in video land and those of you in my inner circle, please, please, please do me a favor. If you find JD, would you ask him to please come home? Because apparently
I miss you, JD.
first of all, ask him
And bring
to
a thermos of coffee, baby.
fine. Ask him two questions. Ask him this. Remember, I said I was married to the best. Not only did this man support me, but he treated me like a queen. Not a princess, ladies and gentlemen, but like a queen. Ask JD two questions. Can you afford her? And if you can't, you might want to take it on down the road. And B, can you put up with her? Because, like I said, only 2 men in my life got me, and they're both dead. So ask the elusive JD those two questions, and if both answers are yes, would you please send him home? Because apparently I'm hurting.
Poor
Not.
baby.
Now, I want to read this third review, which I know the person that wrote it is not the person that wrote it. He does not have the mentality to write it. But he did put his name on it.
Well, let's give him some credit.
Charles Benson, better known as Corky, who is the current president of our HOA. Think of the irony of that one. He owned it. Blessing. And yeah, there are some prizes coming in the second book. So he wrote, his title is A Clear, quote unquote, hit piece that is childishly written. Okay. I didn't even know where to begin with that title because a child doesn't write a hit piece. Children don't put hits out on other people. Those are professionals. And on top of that, let me tell you what, those professionals have cleaners that come and clean up the crime scene like it never happened. Corky, are you listening? So, Murder in the Village is a nearly impossible, joyless read for several reasons. But you read the
wait for you to
book.
read one. I can't wait for you to counteract these three with one of your good ones.
You read the book. So if it was nearly impossible and a joyless read, why did you continue the book? There is no logic, ladies and gentlemen. The writing style is simple to the point of being childlike, and the constant repetition of phrases makes it a struggle to get through. But you read the book. Now, let me ask you a question.
You don't fill your book with cliche repetitions.
I do not. I do not. Because the characters refuse. Now, if you're talking about my queens, Penelope is a piece of work. I cannot control what Penelope says. Penelope's going to say what Penelope's going to say. That's like trying
that's like when I had someone complain that in my steep steps I cursed too much and had too many F-bombs. And the next time I write a book like that, I need to take those out. And I'm like, no, I didn't write bad words. It was my characters.
Only writers
That's
will.
just how they talk.
Now, okay, let me break this sentence down to you. Number one, this sentence is more than a compound sentence. This sentence should have been at least 2, maybe 3 sentences. Just because you write a sentence that's 12 miles long does not make it comprehensive. Number one, if it is childlike, do you think a child would write what I wrote? I venture to say no, unless you are a potential serial killer. Then they write all kinds of weird things. It made it a struggle to get through, but yet you read the book. Why did you continue to read the book if it was a struggle to get through and full of repetitious phrases? Ladies and gentlemen, there's no logic in that. If I struggle to get through a book, I'm not going to finish said book. And there have been books that I couldn't get past the second chapter, and I said, no, not doing it.
And I don't go back and review those books.
No, I don't either, because I am not, someone else might enjoy it. Good on them. The characters are paper thin, and it's obvious they are based on people the author dislikes. And you know this for a fact. How? You just put yourself in the book as well. Characters don't have to be complex because humans are not complex. They are very simple objects. You just have to know which boxes to tick. They are either sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissistic, boring, or they live a full life. I'm the last one. The book is poorly written. That you just repeated yourself, dumbass.
Oh, how can we get through that? Because I mean that's one of his pet peeves, right?
Yeah, and feels more like a hit piece than a genuine work of fiction.
Hit piece I've heard before.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, this is a work of fiction. I'm not defending it. Art imitates life. I am forced to give it a one-star review because the platform won't allow me to give less. Okay, so if you are only going to give it a one star, you've read the book, you put yourself in the book, you've talked about the characters. How did you know the characters were allegedly paper thin if you didn't read about it? And how did you know that it's based on the people the author dislikes? You read the book. You actually read all 145 pages of the book. And you either bought the book or you borrowed it from some of your cronies. Chuck Benson, thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful review. I will have so much fun with it. In fact, Sunday morning when I saw this review, before I even had coffee, bless him, I did a live on Facebook because this was so much fun. I don't have to describe my characters in excruciating details. People are not that complex. They really aren't. When you have the background I have and have seen what I have seen in my lifetime, people are not that complex. Mm-mm. They are, people are paper thin. Sorry, it's just the way it is. So that was,
Have you got one of your 5-star reviews pulled up?
I can do that if you will give me a minute. And
I think we need to balance this out just a little bit
let me just go to
to show our listeners what a good review looks like,
but let me
feels like.
let me read the first. Hang on a minute. Let me find it. It's just too funny.
Well, you look and I'll just sing.
Well, what I'm trying to do is let me see if I can get myself back on here. Hold on, get me back on here. Um, Wait a minute. I might have it here. Let's see. What did I do with it? See if I can get it up on Amazon. I thought I had downloaded it and printed them out, but the first it's not where I want to go. The first one-star review, the author said, and I quote, likes to shop. That was what she called it. And she said, meh, this book is not something or another. Well, first of all, meh is not a word. Second of all, you put yourself in the book and you help with the sales of the book, because right after that, the books were selling like crazy. Absolute like crazy. And it makes me wonder why you were so lonely and so unhappy. Because we know that you are unhappy. Let's see if I can. I'm going to close the logo if I can. You'll have to close the logo. So I was going to try to bring it. I don't know that I can, but we'll try it.
Hold on. Let me figure out. Stop sharing. There we go.
All right, now let me go to share. Presentation. Presentation. Let's see if I can pull it up this way. Screen maybe.
Probably a screen or window.
well, let's see.
Screen, I think, is what they call it.
Yeah, it's screen. Select the tab to share. All right, let's go to midnight. Well, that's not what I wanted. We'll just cancel it. All right, I'm gonna you continue talking while I go find it because
Blah
it's
blah 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 blah.
because it is
Santa
absolutely
Macaulay.
it is absolutely hysterical, but I can't find it. It's on the Facebook page. But
Yes.
basically what she is saying is how dare I? And then I am
Oh well,
a
yeah. You've hit some nerves,
oh yeah, absolutely.
and what people do not understand, writers write from experience. We also write from our imaginations, and we, the good ones, use research. We want to make our characters as believable as possible because I mean, if you're writing a children's book, the character can be a dinosaur that talks, and that's okay. But if you're writing about people, you want the people to be
Real.
relatable. And Yvonne did such a good job making her people relatable that these people have related to it very strongly. And what it may not be the best grammatical book, it may not have no cliches, but cliches are part of life. We did a show on that a while back. It's not good to write a bunch of redundant things and repeat yourself because it does get boring. But if someone like Penelope is always whipping out her hairspray, you people can relate to someone who's a little idiosyncratic,
Yeah, and you also
a
have to
little weird.
a little
Um,
weird. Penelope is a lot of weird. You also have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this is not a technical piece. A technical piece, the grammar is supposed to be perfect, the I's
yeah,
dotted, the T's crossed. In fiction, you write from the perspective of the characters in the book. And the grammar is not always there, I'm going to tell you, because nobody speaks the perfect Queen's English. It don't happen. So here is the
even the Queen didn't.
there you go. Here is the first book, or the first bad review, which to me was a good review because I had fun with it. Again, this reviewer did not own it. Their name is Likes to Shop. Did they shop for Lufus? Maybe. Meh. There's THER apostrophe S better books out there.
Not there are.
No, there's. Okay. To begin with, there's no such word as meh. Okay. Review. I live in the trailer park where this takes place and have read the book. Now, this person says, once again, we live in a trailer park, which I wonder if they live half a block down
Down
the
the
road.
street.
And they admitted they read the book. They admitted it. The author wants to paint it to be like the villages where illicit sexual behavior is normal. And you know this how?
Obviously, she may go there to visit, or maybe she lives in the villages.
Maybe, or maybe it's wishful thinking on her part. The author let's see, it appears that the writer is a scorned woman seeking revenge on her characters. That's the first time scorned woman comes into play. Now,
Interesting, they use the same words among the three of them.
really, scorned is not a word that is in my vocabulary unless one of my characters is it or does it, or writes about it. Okay, the book lacks depth and intelligence. Okay, the level of her stupidity exponentially exceeds the level of my intelligence. I cannot do battle with a stupid person because they will beat me to death with it every time. I'm sorry. I cannot stoop down to that level of stupidity. It should be a criminal act and you should go to jail for life in the dark in a 2 by 2 cell where you have to
With
stand up
no books to
with
read.
no books to read that you can bitch about. Think of the slam book that was featured in the film Mean Girls. I didn't even watch that movie. I don't watch chick flicks. Pot Kettle, maybe? It's like that, except it's written by a mean 80-year-old senior citizen, not a young girl. Okay, first of all, how did I get to be 80 years old overnight? I really, like I said at the beginning of this, I really want to know how I became 80 years old overnight. What is the magic? Because if she's got a time machine, I'm going to go rehome it and I'm going to reverse it and I'm going to move back a couple of years. I mean, 6 years. Was I Rumpelstiltskin? Did I sleep through the last 6 years? I don't know. Beats
Well,
me, but
apparently you learned how to write bad books.
I guess overnight. So maybe they'll make a movie about where unhealed mean girls go to die. Honey, thank you. You just gave me the title for the third book. It's not how most of us want to spend the remaining years of our life. What? What? So, how do you want to spend the remaining years of your life? What does that have to do with this? Your logic escapes me again. The level of your stupidity far exceeds the level of my intelligence. What? So, yes, and the fun part about all of this is you gave me the title for the third book, and I am taking some of your direct quotes and putting them in the second book. You put yourself there. You opened yourself up. So if you come back at me and say, I didn't say that, number one, you've read the second book, which is not out yet. And number two, yes, you did. I have it. I saved it. So, those reviews did not start popping up until people were having lots of fun reading the book and posting.
Let me read some of the other reviews.
Okay.
And I will tell you who wrote them because these people put their name down. Anna Lemons gave it 5 stars, and she wrote the sweetest little, shortest little review, cleverly written with a bit of humor, a bit of suspense, and just the right amount of snark.
There you
Looking
go.
forward to the sequel. Victor Donardi wrote, what a fun read, a definite page turn, could not put it down. Will keep you glued from first page till last. Can't wait for the sequel. J. Patricia Ragley said, very good story and hard to put down. Quick read. Helen Prasso said, a great read, a page turner. Couldn't wait until the end. And what I'm seeing is where people have said, I find this helpful. I find this helpful. Nobody has said anything about how helpful these other ones are. Amazon customer. It's crazy. Oh, come on. It won't let me click to the next page. Well, I'm trying not to have to sign in. I'll read what I wrote. And yes, I am biased. I love Yvonne. But I loved her books before I loved her. I just said Yvonne Mason has done it again. She has used her vast knowledge and life experience to write another book that's extremely difficult to put down. I know I couldn't. Within hours of the book arriving in my mailbox, I reached the satisfying end. This is a fun book that introduces readers to or reacquaints readers with characters who enliven murder in the village. 3 drag queens also help unravel murders, show up in grand fashion to help the main character. That's a bad sentence. Y'all excuse me. Greer, who somehow has become a prime murder suspect, is the main character. Do not buy this book if you expect to dawdle over it for weeks. This is the kind of dramedy you can't wait to dig into to find out who is killing all the retirees in the community.
Now,
And there are others, there are dozens of others, but I have to sign in to Amazon, and I don't want to do that right now.
you can go on the Midnight Publishing page, and all the reviews are there. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, life is not to be taken seriously. Number one, it's too short. And number two, one of my favorite sayings is this: if you can't laugh at yourself, somebody else will help you out and do it for you.
Yes.
And have fun doing it. When I wrote Tangled Minds way back early on, my oldest daughter, Brandy, who made some very, very, very bad decisions in her life, called me up and she said, "Mama, you wrote this book about me." I said, "I did. It's based on you." "Yep, guilty. I own it." She said, "But I didn't do a lot of those things." I said, "Nope. That's the beauty of being able to do fiction. You take life's experiences and you weave them into this story." And Murder in the Village, in that case, it's a dramedy. Because if you live in a community where there are village idiots who think that they are more important than they really are, who have no sense of self-worth, who lack an extreme self-confidence, and who have no life, you have a major storm that is filled with fodder for fiction. If some of the characters appear to be you in real life, all I can say is that guilty dog always barks.
Yes.
If someone winds up as a character, and I've got strangers that live here that I have never met that are sending me messages, "We want to be in your next book." What? They don't care if they get killed off or not. They just want to be in the book.
Well, because that gives them a sense of immortality.
Exactly. It does. And it also gives them a sense of belonging to something. I had someone in the village say, "Yvonne, I want to be the murderer." "Okay, I'll see if I can fit it in. It won't be the first book because the characters have already decided who the murderer is, so it may have to wait a while, but we can build up to it." I had people contact me and say, "I wasn't in this book. I want to be. Why wasn't I in this book?" I can't put 50 people in one book, honey. It doesn't work. You got to keep.
There aren't that many pages.
Right. And if you have 100 different characters, the reader gets lost into who did to who when they did it. Now, there is an old country song that says, "Who's sleeping with who and who's doing who?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Think about Murder in the Village. Because when a writer takes different aspects from different parts of their universe and blends it into fiction, then people start saying, "Yvonne, is that really going on here?" "I don't know. I just put it in there. It's up for you to decide. I report, you decide." I personally, Mary, did not expect Murder in the Village to get this much traction. I really didn't. It was just a fun little book that had to be written because it was driving me crazy. And if I hadn't have written it, uh, I would not have been responsible for some of the things
Well,
that
that's the thing of writing. You have an idea and you have to get it out.
you have to. Now,
And people love to read fiction and they love to be swept away into a different world. But when you've got people who hate you for just existing because you wrote something that they think is you pointing your finger at them.
they're pointing it at themselves.
Yes.
That's what makes this it's so funny is that these three people have pointed the finger back at themselves because they put themselves in the book. Now, let me go back to the statement of childlike written. I've read Janet Ivanovich. At one time, she was one of my favorite authors. Her books are very concise, very, for lack of a better word, simplistically written. Because when people want to read for pleasure, most people don't want to get bogged down.
No.
They just want to read. Murder in the Village can be read in a couple of hours. I do not go into a lot of detail of how deep the pond is, how green the grass is. The only character, there's two characters in there that are very infinitely described. The rest of them just sit out on the periphery. Because you don't want to bog your readers down with complete descriptions of every character in the book. It's left to the reader's imagination. Now, if you choose to imagine that's you and you're not happy, that's on you, honey. That's a you problem, not a me problem.
That's right.
Another one of the writers out there that has been a beloved writer for years is the writer that wrote the Jesse Stone series. His dialogue was very simplistic. He said, she said. He said, she said. He said, she said. Very simplistic. Now, if I want to get into in-depth reading that takes me down a lot of rabbit holes, I go read Anne Rice. I go
Yes.
read Stephen King. I go read Zhivago, Dr. Zhivago, or I go read War and Peace, which I've read both of those. Or I go even further and read Truman Capote's True Crime, which in 7th grade I had to do a book report on. Those are in-depth books. Not everyone wants to read a book that is so in-depth. They're sitting in a doctor's office, they're on an airplane, they're at home after a hard day's work, they just want something to laugh about. Call it simplistic if you want to, but I guarantee you, you turn the pages to the bitter end. Bless your heart. So that is how not to write a review, ladies and gentlemen. If the only thing that you have in your wheelhouse on a review is to personally attack the author, this isn't the first time this has happened. Many years ago, I was personally attacked about another book I wrote. And if I had been the same person that I am now, I would have taken it personally and been really upset. But that's not a me problem. That's a them problem because they have something lacking in their lives that they have to vilify themselves by attacking me. Okay, so back to the basics. If you write a review, it's not about the person who wrote it. It's about whether or not the book was your cup of tea. If it's not your cup of tea, okay, fine. Not every book is. Mary will tell you that. There are some people that with steep steps, Mary got some questions and some raised eyebrows and some not really my cup of tea. That's okay.
Yeah.
We write for the masses, and sometimes a few of those masses don't like it. And that's okay. But it's not about us, the writer. So if you write a review, it's about your perception of the book. Never say, I don't recommend this book. Because that is your perception. Someone else's perception might be, oh, I can't wait to see what they were moaning and groaning and bitching and griping and complaining about. I'm going to go buy several copies and hand them out as birthday presents.
Yes.
That's my PSA for the day. So,
We
Mary,
just,
add to your flavor on that one.
well, I don't have as many book reviews out as you do, especially on one specific book, but I love to know that people are reading the books and that they do or don't recommend them. My own sister, God bless her, she would send me at least once a week. She'd send me a text. I'm still reading your book. I've got other things to do, which I thought meant I don't like this book, but I'm trudging through. So, and she never did go back to Amazon and leave a review. She sent me an actual review toward the end after she finished. She said, well, I finished your book. I will say it's not what I expected because, my first 3 books were about angels. And then my first novel was about sex addiction. Big, big difference. And she said, I just wish you wouldn't curse so much. I didn't. Although I do. Uh, but in the book, I wasn't cursing. It was the character. Only one character, maybe 2, but I mean, that one was the worst. Potty mouth Jim. And to me, when you can leave an actual review on Amazon or on, and then there again, she couldn't leave a one on Amazon for that because it was not on there at the time. But anyway, you have to, tell what you like about it, tell what you don't like. But even though she was surprised and appalled at the language, she read the book and she learned things. And that's really what it boils down to is, did I learn something from this? Or maybe all I learned, like from Sherry's book, was I love me some chocolate. Or, I didn't know chocolate was actually part of a seed. Cocoa is part of a cacao seed. And people don't know what they don't know, and they learn what they can. And if you don't like the book, don't attack the author. It's not, it ain't cool. That's all.
As my mother used to say, it's common.
Yes,
It's
yes.
common. And the translation of that is, don't put yourself in a position where you make yourself look like you're trashy. These same 3 people, if indeed it is 3 people, it could have been the first one doing it twice, but these same people do not understand A, the literary world, B, do not understand how to write a cohesive and comprehensive book review. Oh, that's so childlike. Why did I say those words?
Ooh, comprehensive, that is a big word for a child.
It is. It really, really is. Um, they don't understand how this arena works. And I would venture to say that most people don't. If I see a book and that book cover jumps out at me, and this is why I strive very hard to make book covers pop, the front and back cover should start the story. If I see a book and the book cover doesn't pop, even if it's a well-known author, I won't pick it up. Because that's time I've wasted I'll never get back. If the book cover intrigues me because that starts the story, I'll either read the inside where sometimes the synopsis is, or I'll flip it over and read the backside, which is where the synopsis should be, unless it's in the book jacket. And I'm not sure they even do those much anymore. But people not in the literary world sometimes just don't get it. Art imitates life on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
And when you take that way too seriously, you rob yourself of some of the funniest moments in life there are.
Yeah.
I've laughed at myself so many times it's not even funny. Let me tell you, one of the readers, I do airport runs, and she usually
Yes.
goes with me, and she had the book. We, she's supposed to be my navigator on these airport runs to help me watch out for all the crazy people. We get in the truck. I look over, and she's got this book open. Murder in the Village. What are you doing? I'm reading. Okay, why? Because I can't put it down. Okay, fine. We get to the airport. She pulls this book out, and she's still reading, which that's okay. And she's laughing, and we're talking about it. And then we pick up our people, and she's in the back seat with my other friend, and she's still reading, and she's still laughing. Well, I can't talk about it with her because the person we picked up hadn't read the book yet.
Right.
We get to Olive Garden. It's 9 o'clock at night here in Vero. We get to Olive Garden. We've placed our order, and Louise reaches in her bag, and out comes the book.
Oh no.
You've heard of being on your phone at a restaurant? Well, she had to finish the book. It wasn't but maybe 6 or 7 pages, but she had to finish the book at dinner. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. They go hand
Yes.
in hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to post a not so nice review, understand one thing. If you don't post your name, I will call you out. If you do post your name, I will call you out. If you make it personal, I will
I will
definitely
call you out.
if you make it your perception of why you personally did not care for the book, I will be kinder because I get it. But if you put the garbage that these three people put up on Amazon, I will call you out and will probably use your own words against you in another book. Fair warning. Take it as a warning. I have fun with them. Anything else, Miss Mary?
I can't think of anything other than to say welcome to Midnight Publishing Dale Veely. Um, we've got a few more authors that are coming in or maybe coming in. They're trying to discuss it and determine it, figure out if it's for them or not, or if they're going to be like I was and do it all myself and do it the hard way. Um, if anybody who knows me knows that I can be stubborn and knows that I like to do things my own way because then I have ultimate control. But I will say this because this was a question that was asked of me more than once. What can Midnight Publishing do for you that you can't do for yourself? Because it's a legitimate question. And the answer is give me peace of mind and a sense of release and relief. Because if you are, as my mother used to say, the chief cook and bottle washer all rolled into one, you're doing everything by yourself. If you work with Yvonne, she'll take some of that load off of you. Yvonne helps promote her writers like crazy. And I mean, if you want to be on the podcast, all you got to do is let us know. I will be happy to back away.
But we
or
can have more than
do
one
a
person.
three-way.
Yeah. Oh, there's a good one.
Okay.
Put it in the book.
A three-way?
Yeah. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I can't help it. It's the voices in my head. They just go off on their own. Yes.
But
follow her.
we Yvonne can't do anything for you that other bigger publishers won't do for you. Yvonne can help steer you. And this was one of the questions of that young woman who is on the fence right now. Well, I want my book in bookshops. Well, guess what? I'm still working on some touches on Steep Steps before I give it over to Yvonne so that she can put it under Midnight Publishing. But what I did with Amazon is same thing she can do, and now it is, I get minor, I'm paying more to have it on Amazon's sell list, book buyers list, and because of this, it's around the world. It is on 47 different websites, but that doesn't translate into personal, physical bookshops. How do you get your book on bookshops if you're not with a big publisher? The same way you do if you are with a big publisher. You have to hit the pavement. You have to go make yourself known to these book buyers. You have to be in their faces, and you have to be always selling yourself. Now, I have all of my angel books and all of my other books, except for Faith and Folly at this point, in 3 different local bookstores. How did I make that happen? I went and I talked to them and I said, hey, here's who I am. Would you like to put my books on your shelves? And they do. Some of them have bought them at wholesale. Some of them have bought them on consignment. Actually, I take that back. 4 bookstores. One's actually down in Jupiter. I ran into a woman when I was doing a book event, and she bought 3 copies of each of my books that I had at that time. And that way it's there, and I don't have to worry about consignment or anything like that. If she wants more, she'll let me know.
And,
So-
and also, just as you talked about Barnes and Noble and Books a Million before the thought leaves my head forever. What people don't understand, and this was the same question I was asked. People want to be in those box stores. Have you been in a Barnes and Noble box store before?
Or lately.
Or lately?
Because if you go into some of these stores, you're going to find they're more about the merchandise than they are the books. There are books for sale, but every place you turn your head, you got mugs. And these aren't necessarily mugs with Murder in the Village printed on it. There are things like, I love reading. Readers are leaders. Reading makes you smart. They're things about books, but not necessarily book branded items.
And do you have to understand, in those bookstores, there are thousands of books. Thousands. And the question that I asked this person is the same question that I asked Mary when we were working on, I think it was Faith and Folly. Or it might have been another one. I forgot which one it was. But my question was this: do you want to stand out, or do you want to blend in? And of course, Mary's like me, we're going to stand out. So if you're in a box bookstore and you think that your book is going to make it at the front entrance, you're wrong. And the reason I say that is because these bookstores are paid to promote New York's best time seller, James Patterson. Because that's part of the grand scheme of the marketing tool. Your book will wind up down aisle 235 on the very bottom shelf, stuck between who knows what and my favorite cooking show.
Yeah.
So you've got to understand, as a writer, where do you want to spend your energy? And Amazon is such a driving force now. Why not spend your energy with your book on Amazon? because you copy the links, you put it out there on social media. If Joe Blow says, "Where can I find your book?" Oh, right here. And it is a quick way to promote. You don't say, "Well, you got to go down here to the Barnes and Noble on US 1, and it's about 3 doors down from the wing shop and across the street from the Happy Family liquor store." Yeah, just go in there, and it's down aisle 245 on the bottom shelf between who knows what and my cooking show. Good luck with that one, because they're not going to do it. But if you
Well,
say,
people like things convenient.
exactly, and we live for, and Amazon delivers the next day.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas. So when I get these requests of, "Oh, I'm at one in Barnes and Noble, I'm looking for a literary agent, I'm doing this, I'm doing that," that tells me these are baby writers
Yes.
that haven't yet jumped in the deep end of the pool. They're just sort of sticking their toes in the shallow end to see if they like the feel of the water. You're either going to do it or you're not. You're either going to commit to something or you're not. And I'm going to tell you what, many a writer has gotten frustrated and quit when they tried to go in and put the books up themselves because of all of the criteria that
Mm-hmm.
Amazon requires. Mary can
Well,
tell you about personal experience with cornfield flyers.
absolutely. It can knock your socks off. I fiddled with that thing for a year and could not get it to take. Yvonne had it 3 days and it was up. And it's already selling. And that's another thing. I've done it the traditional self-publishing route. Go have the books printed, bring the boxes home, or have them drop shipped depending on where I bought them. Um, and now I still have boxes and boxes and boxes of books. With Amazon, you only have as many as you need for 1 or 2 shows. And you don't need that many. Um, the thing is that if I take my first 3 books that I put out there by myself and I want to sell them at any store, I don't care if it's Barnes and Noble, who's getting a lot of free press from us today,
They are.
um, or if it's, my books are in Skull and Books VR in Cocoa Beach. They are in the Island Crystal and Beads in Merritt Island. And they're in Essential Elements Wellness in Melbourne. Plus the shop down in Jupiter that I really don't know the name of. They used to be in a different crystal store, but that one went out of business. Or went completely online, I think is what it was. The point is, if I want my books, I have to take them out there myself. But if my books are on Amazon, I can talk to people and say, "Hey, I've got these books for sale on Amazon through Midnight Publishing, and I'd love to have you stock them in your store. Let's talk." And then they say, "Well, how do I get a copy?" Well, of course, I'm going to have a copy in a bag right there on my shoulder, right here under my left arm, and I'll say, "Here's what they look like." Or you can go on Amazon and look for yourself at your leisure and check them out. And if you want them, then I can get them for you at wholesale. Or we can do a consignment, whatever way works. But the thing is, a writer still has to do that marketing. You still have to do the steps that are required. Sure, you can get an agent, hope that you get one quickly.
Gives me a headache.
I know that I am a good writer. I have no question about that. I know that I can write my own press releases. I've done it. I know that I'm a decent salesperson. But if I get 150 agents who say, "Oh, I was fascinated by your theory, but not for me. I'm passing. As much as I'd love to work with you on this, I'm passing." not for just one book or two books, but for three of the books that I've tried to get covered through an agent. Why? Why do I want to give them 15% of every profit I make? And why do I want, because once you get the agent, that's just the beginning. Because then that agent has to, before they get paid a penny, they have to get your book published. They have to get you a deal with a publisher. And it doesn't mean it's going to be a publisher like Random House. I have a friend who uses an agent. His books are sold under a label called Black Opal. Never heard of them before. The thing about agents, they do their job, but it takes them a long, long time. And a rejection, I know a writer, very talented writer, unbelievably talented, who could probably win a Pulitzer if he tried. But he got rejected once and quit writing for 10 years. Rejection hurts. Nobody likes it. So why put yourself through that over and over and over again? And then I saw where somebody said, if you're serious, writers should expect to be rejected at least 100 times every year.
Why am I
Who
going
has time for that? I have too many books. If I only wrote one book, maybe I could do that. If I was still in my 20s and I had a lot of time before me, folks, I am nearing the last a quarter century of my life. If I live another 25 years, I'll be joyful. If I live another 25 minutes, I'll be pretty happy.
and the thing is, what
you don't
people
know.
what people don't understand is once you spend all that time writing query letters to alleged agents and waiting for replies, that is time of your life you will never, ever, ever get back. Why are you spending that time doing that when you could be spending that time going to conventions, writing more books, answering stupid reviews, coming on this show?
There are so many different ways to promote yourself that don't require an agent. I thought before I talked to Yvonne that I needed an agent in order to get my book picked up to be turned into an episodic. And she said, "No, we can work around that. We can find ways to get your thing on film and have it streamed. You don't need to be on Amazon or Hulu or Netflix for your story to get out. The whole thing is about the story, not about what's down the line. I can't live my life for tomorrow.
Gotta live it for today.
I
So
got
with
too
our
much
with
else
our
to do.
we're almost on the 2 hour mark. With our closing thoughts, quick review. We gained another wonderful author who will be doing spiritual inspiration, and we have the beautiful new imprint for children's books. Mary will be doing imprint mock-ups for spiritual inspirations. Do you want to do another poll for that one?
I think so. I like the way that turned out.
Yep, we'll do another poll. Um, the PSA of this whole entire hour and 50 minutes is, if you are going to write a review, own it. Do not make it personal. And remember, it is your perspective. You might tell me I don't recommend this book, but I'm going to go get that book because nobody tells me what to do, and I barely take suggestions. This same person, Mr. Benson, and his board firmly requested that I do something. The last person
Oh boy.
firmly requested I do something, I was 2 years old. It was my parents. It did not end well for them then, and it does not end well for me now. So, if you write the review, make it non-judgmental. Understand that it is from your respective perspective. Never say, I do not recommend, because I guarantee you, oh, you can say, oh, please do. Go ahead, say it. I can guarantee you that there will be people that will go out there and buy the book just to see why you don't recommend it, and they might love the book. Same thing with movies. Critics say, I don't recommend this movie, blah, 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 blah. I bet your bottom dollar I'm going to go see the movie because, again, nobody tells me what to do. If you're not particularly fond of the book because you didn't like the plot, you didn't like the characters, whatever, you didn't like the time of day, you didn't like the setting, that's on you, honey. Be you, do you, but own it. Please own it, because we
Yep.
will call you out every single time. You cannot hide behind autonomy. Sorry, just doesn't. You know, when people say, well, I made an anonymous phone call to the police. Why? I don't want to get involved. Dumbass, you already did.
You just dial the number.
And believe me when I tell you, even though you say, I don't want to get involved, my name's anonymous, they know who you are. So just saying. So with that in mind, Mary and I will not be meeting for the next 2 weeks because she is going out of town to spend time with family. Good on her. I may do some single shows, or I may bring on Andrea. Maybe I'll bring on Andrea Dean Benskoy. She hadn't been on the show in a hot minute. That'll be fun. She's as vocal as we are. If you are interested and you really want your work out there, and no, there's no hidden agenda. I can't say this enough. We will do it for you. We'll format it. We'll do the book cover. We'll edit it. We'll get it out there. We market it. We pimp you like nobody's business. That's what I told Dale yesterday. I said, yeah, I'll be doing it. He goes, what?
Yep, Dale got himself a pimp yesterday.
Yes, he did, honey. He did. We're going to be pimping him to here and there. We'll bring him on the show. There's so much that we can do.
And you know, the only thing it cost Dale was his own lunch, which he was going to buy anyway.
Exactly. So, if you're in our area, we'll come to you. If you're not in our area, we'll Zoom. I hate Zoom, but we'll do Zoom.
Yeah. It's
Just,
there are a lot of ways that we can meet and talk.
Yeah.
I talked to another author who's trying to get her ideas together. They're still rolling around in her head. We just had we met on Zoom because she wanted to see me, but her audio wasn't working. So we had met on Zoom so she could look at my face, but we talked over the telephone. And we can do a Facebook video too. You can video chat through Facebook. There's all kinds of ways to make the connection.
and
I know that Jason doesn't live locally. I don't know if
No.
you've got two, and Sherry lives out of the area.
Sherry lives in Indiana. We could bring her on. Oh, that would tickle her to death. That's what we'll do. When you come back, I will get with her, and I think she's on Central Time. I will get with her and see if she wants to come on as a guest, because, and what we failed to talk about, we'll spend the rest of the time talking about. Sherry has released a second book, which is coming out on the 25th, and it's another dream of hers that she wrote this book in high school, and it's called Under the Dragon's Eye. And when you see the cover on the front and the back, you're going, how do these things, what? That was Mary's, what? I don't get the connection. But when you read the book, you will, because it's loosely based on a mob hit and a mob takedown, and someone else taking the blame for a mob hit, 2 mob hits. But the location is in the bowling alley. The front is a dragon's eye, and I literally took the description of the dragon's eye in the book and put it up on Copilot and said, create this for me. And when the cover came back, it was perfect. I couldn't have drawn it out any better myself. But this was another dream that Sherry never thought would be real. We are dream makers here because we understand the journey. Am I right?
Amen, sister.
So, with that, I will say adieu, adieu, adieu until
Ciao,
the
baby.
adieu.
I
And
will miss doing this for the next 2 weeks. But y'all, I have to tell you, I am so excited. I'm driving 6 hours to my niece's house. And this young lady, I just adore her. And I love her husband, I love her children. They're teen and tweens. And Yvonne suggested I shore up my fortitude before I get in the car with 3
are we there
teenagers.
yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
However, these children are all car readers.
There you
So
go.
I don't have any worries about them. They're going to sit down and they'll listen to their own music in their headphones. Mama and I will be chatting up a storm, or we might be reading a book together. I don't know. But then we're going to drive over to Virginia, and I get to be with my baby brother. He's celebrating his 60th birthday this year. And I leave my husband at home, so all you people who thought you could come and ransack the house while I was gone and get all my painting, nope, sorry. Curtis will be here watching the castle. And it's just good to have some one-on-one time with a sibling and his 6 children. So I've got 6 nieces and nephews. I think only one who is active duty in Japan can't make it, but the others, they're all, every single one of them military, and they're just a fun family to be with. And I love my husband's wife, and so I'm going to be pampered a little bit and spoiled and come home and let that continue with Curtis.
And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make your dream true. We are growing, and we're growing at the rate of speed that we should be.
Oh, yes.
Slowly, because I'm still writing. I will continue to write. I can't help but write. But we're growing at a rate of speed that I'm not bombarded with 150 manuscripts at one time and everybody wants their book out yesterday. To begin with, that's not how it works. And second of all, you don't want to bombard the masses with 150 books at one time because, bless them, they get overwhelmed. So, while you are traveling, think about where we want to put on the writers event and start putting those plans into place, even if I have to come to Cocoa or Merritt Island. And let's see how much interest we generate. And again, it's a free event, people. You can't go anywhere and get this kind of information without it costing you. Trust me, I've done enough of them. And I'm expensive. So is Mary.
But I'm worth it.
And so am I. Well, not according to those 3 of you. Never mind. Well, yeah. And we will talk.
You know, we could call this the...
No, what?
Well, I had 2 competing thoughts.
Oh, that's frightening.
It is. But I just combined them. And this is how my mind works. Sometimes I have so many thoughts. My husband told me just last week, he said, it must be horrible to live in your head. I said, you have no idea.
I scare myself.
I think we should call it the JD's Scorned Woman Book Conference.
I love it. That is perfect. Absolutely.
But we might change the name. I mean, but I love that idea, the score. Or at first I thought of JD's book conference, and then I thought, nah, maybe just the Scorned Woman book conference. But
That's
I
a good
don't
one
want
too.
people, I don't want people to think that you either must write about or be a scorned woman to participate.
No, no, this is a writer's workshop on, on what we require. And our rules are very simple, very. They're not complicated. It's, for instance, real quick, and then we really got to go because I'm sure people are tired of us. Yesterday, Dale said, I have all of my work in Google Docs. I said, do not, please send me Google Docs. He goes, why? I said, because I have to take every one of your Google Docs, I have to copy and paste them over to a Word doc. Then I
Which
have to,
does not always translate.
no, then I have to format the book. Then I have to go out and do any minor corrections. No, send me a completed manuscript in a Word doc.
And
Single
this is what
space.
we will actually teach at this class, how
Yes.
to convert the files so that they are publisher ready.
And if you have laptops, if you work off a laptop, bring it.
Yep.
Because we will have you do a mock up. It'll be an exercise.
We will, we've got to find a venue that we can use for free because we're doing this for free. And we'll have to make sure that we've got access to enough outlets that we
Outlets.
might need or any kind of audio visual stuff. But we're going to make this so that it's fun
Informative.
and informative. Going to be a little challenging. It's going to be educational. And you're going to walk away knowing how to do what you need to do to get your book published.
And it won't,
Whether you use Midnight Publishing or you do
or
it
not.
yourself.
We don't care. And it
I
won't,
actually just realized I have 2 books that someone gave me. They were his author copies. He self-published them, and each book is double-spaced, printed, and he's planning to sell them that way. And it's not like you need a space to write notes between every line. It's because he doesn't know any better.
and that's not a smear on this author.
No,
It's a learning tool. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are finding more and more in this world, that our literary world, is people have a story to tell. They want to tell it. However, they don't know how to tell it. Yeah, you can get in your car and you can say, okay, on the spur of the moment, I'm going to take a journey out west and I'm not going to take a road map. I can guarantee you that even if you take the back roads or you take the expressway, you're going to wind up on a dead end street sooner or later, or in a part of town
no.
you really don't want to be in.
25 years ago, I did exactly that. I drove from Melbourne, Florida to Atlanta, Georgia with no more than a general idea that it was northwest. And I got in my car and I started driving up I-95 until I saw a sign that said Georgia. And then I looked at that and I'm like, well, I know Savannah's on the east coast, basically. And I know Augusta's a little more westerly. And Atlanta's more northwest than that.
Actually,
So,
Augusta's east too.
yeah, compared to Atlanta, for
Mhm.
sure. So I just followed the signs until I got, and then when I got to Atlanta, I had an address on a piece of paper, and I called the woman, I had a phone number, I called the woman I was going to be staying with, and I said, I am here. How do I get to you? And she gave me the directions from where I was to her house, and it was back, back in the day before we had maps, for God's sake. Yes, we did. But I didn't bother to get one. I just assumed I could do it. And I did it.
But it took a minute.
It took a minute,
And
and
you still had to ask for help.
There were moments that I thought, oh my God, have mercy, what have I done? I did the same similar thing coming from, I think I was coming from just Jacksonville, going back to South Carolina. I knew that South Carolina was north. Ended up on A1A, or yeah, A1A, and looking at the ocean, and I knew that wasn't where I needed to be. And I couldn't figure out how to get there, so I had to stop and ask for directions. And I was like, how do I get to I-95 from here? And the guy was like, well, you gotta drive 30 miles. Oopsie.
Off the beaten path. But this is what we're saying. Even Mary without a road map, she still had to ask for help once she was in the general vicinity. And this is all we're saying. Yeah, you can do this on your own. You can do it without a road map. But the question is, do you want to get to that place with the least possible issues, or do you want to fight with trying to make your book work for you? Because I'm going to tell you, Amazon is very particular, and they won't tell you when you put that book up and you go to, and not everybody clicks on launch review. They just go, oh, okay, my book's up, click, let's go to the next page. And then you get an author's copy and your chapter 1 and chapter 2 are on the same page with chapter 1 up here and chapter 2. They're not going to tell you that you needed to fix it. It is your responsibility, if you do this yourself, to go and launch the preview and look at it. Kindle is a different animal because you're going to get one sentence here and maybe chapter 200, and that's because Kindle works on all the devices, and you can make the print larger or smaller depending on how your eyes are, but it is not book form. But if you launch your paperback and you don't go in and you don't look at the interior of the book, you may or may not have a book you're proud of. They will also tell you about your book cover. If your book cover is not the proper dimensions as a JPEG before you ever upload it to that PDF file, they're going to kick it back and say it needs to be this many pixels by this many pixels, or this many inches by this many inches. And if you are not at least a little bit proficient in Photoshop, you're going to get so frustrated and so angry. And if you have paid somebody to do a book cover and you haven't given them the correct information and they do the book cover wrong, they're going to charge you again
To fix it.
to fix it. And it's not cheap. We do that here. I know exactly the dimensions. I was throwing out dimensions yesterday and Dale's going, huh? I've done it for so long. The hardcover is a different total dimension than the paperback because the hardcover has a wrap. And when you put it up on Kindle, when you put the front cover up on Kindle, it's a total another animal because
Yes,
you
it
have
is.
pixels. So these are the things we will talk about when we have this. And if you say, well, I live in another state, and we get enough interest, we might even do a Zoom
Yes.
for you guys. We can do just about anything because that's who we are. And we can even put the Zoom meeting after it finishes up everywhere because that's what we do. So it is now 1:06, well over 2 hours. I know y'all are tired of us listening, tired of listening to us, but we want to thank you. And Mary will be contemplating the place and time and date for our little writers conference. And we will also figure out how we want to do one online at, what's the cost, Mary?
Let me think for a minute. Oh yeah, it's free. Zero. Cost you nothing.
Just bring your pencil, your notepad, and your computer, and your gas and time. That's it. So with that, I'm Yvonne Mason with
I'm Mary Brotherton.
My partner in crime, we're partners in crime, and in 2 weeks we will see you again. Thank you so
And you'll
much for
probably be
watching.
hearing from Yvonne
Oh,
throughout,
yeah, more than likely.
especially if she gets some more negative reviews.
Oh, yeah. Look, go to my personal page, Yvonne Mason, because that's where the lives go up. Then I put them on Midnight Publishing and everywhere else, including the website. Go to our website. It is midnightpublishing.org. It's full of information. I think by now we should be to 1,000 viewers. All over the world, people. All over the world. So with that, we say, see you in 2 weeks.
I'll do. Goodbye. Ciao.
Arrivederci. Hasta luego. Bonsoir.